I'm Steve Hayden, and I'm fascinated by Ned Kelly's short and violent life that has inspired writers, poets, artists and filmmakers. He was a larrikin, fiercely loyal to his family and willing to sacrifice himself for his mates. Irish, an underdog. When the family farm here at Greta failed, theft was a way of life to make ends meet. Ned fearlessly thumbed his nose at the establishment. While not setting out to murder, let's face it, Ned was a criminal. Retrace his steps and decide for yourself. Hero or villain? Follow the route and visit the sites that speak volumes. Most of Ned's story plays out in Victoria's northeast, home to the high country, rivers, bush and fertile plains. But he also crossed the mighty Murray to stamp Jerilderie pivotal to the story. While retracing Ned's steps that ultimately led to Melbourne and the gallows, you can experience firsthand the hospitality, local insights, authentic country towns, jaw-dropping views and fine food and wine that is the hallmark of the trail. Benella's Commercial Hotel was police headquarters for the Kelly Gang manhunt. Not far from Ned's family home is Benella's Costume and Pioneer Museum. Here you can step inside the portable cell used to hold Ned. Admire the green sash won by Ned as a boy for an act of bravery. So prized by Ned that he wore it under his armour the night of the Glenrowan siege. The Benella Art Gallery proudly displays Sydney Nolan's tapestry, Glenrowan, and the deck is the perfect spot to plan your next step. It's not hard to imagine what Beechworth was like during Kelly's day. The buildings are pretty much as they were during the Gold Rush and Bushranger era. At various times, the Beechworth jail held Ned, the rest of his gang and even his mother Ellen. Today you can visit Ned Kelly's cell and take a walking tour of the historic and cultural precinct. Enjoy a coffee and cake at the Beechworth Bakery while you contemplate the relaxed pace of this heritage-rich town. Ned learnt much from bushranger Harry Power and spent time at his hideaway that today is known as Power's Lookout. As impressive a view as I've ever seen. Not far from the little pub at Tolmy, where nothing very much happens, is Stringy Bark Creek. It was at this site in 1878, near what's known as the Kelly Tree, the Kelly Gang's fate was sealed. This is where the 3 police officers were shot dead and Ned Kelly became Victoria's most wanted criminal. You can imagine what a daunting task it was for these police to take on Ned in his own backyard. By all accounts, Ned didn't set out to murder. Yet 3 officers lay dead and the 4th, after hiding in a wombat hole, returned to Mansfield to raise the alarm. Mansfield Cemetery holds the remains of the 3 murdered policemen, and its sole roundabout features the police memorial. Just across the road is the courthouse from which Ned Kelly was proclaimed an outlaw. Feelings still run strong in Mansfield, given the deaths of the 3 local police, villain or hero. The debate lives on over a coffee, cool climate wine, or from the back of a horse. Avenel is intrinsic to the Kelly story. It is here that 11-year-old Ned saved a boy from drowning. The boy's father presented Ned with a green sash for his act of bravery. The historic courthouse and the cemetery, where Ned's father Red is buried, form part of the Avenel Kelly Trail. The full story of the Kelly Gang robbery of Euroa National Bank can be found here on display at the Farmers Arms Hotel Museum. Well planned, with hostages held in the storeroom at Faithfuls Creek Station, the gang's clean getaway caused no end of embarrassment for the police. The raid of Euroa by the Kellys was notable for its lack of violence and firmly stamps Euroa as a must-see on the Ned Kelly trail. With scant regard for the New South Wales Constabulary, Ned crossed the Murray and came to this printery in Jerilderie. Here he would deliver a letter for publication that would outline his defence for the Kelly Gang's actions at Stringy Bark Creek. And for good measure, he relieved the bank of £2,000. Unfortunately, the Jerilderie letter, providing both insight and motive to Kelly's actions, wasn't published until long after his death. Walk in the Kelly gang's footsteps and check out the 6 buildings that are still in existence today, like the blacksmith shop. And if you're feeling generous, shout the bar, just as Ned did all those years ago at the Royal Mail Hotel. Who's up for a beer? Glenrowan is home to the siege, where the most dramatic of the Ned Kelly scenes played out. The townsfolk were bailed up in the Anne Jones Inn, with many Kelly supporters among them. Although Ned had the chance to make his escape, he chose to make a stand in his handmade armour. Brought down by the police with shots to his unprotected legs, the sash he was awarded as a youngster was revealed when the 97-pound armour was removed. Today, Glenrowan is guarded by a huge statue of Ned, and the Ned Kelly Memorial Museum is a highlight of the trail. Every story has 2 sides, and nowhere is that more evident than at the Victoria Police Museum. Here you'll learn a little bit about what life was really like for an officer in the 1880s, facing skilled bushrangers like the Kelly gang. The museum holds 2 of the original sets of armour used by the Kelly gang at the Glenrowan siege, and even holds Ned's Colt revolver. While in Melbourne, you should also visit the old Melbourne jail, where Ned was heard to say, "Such is life," before being hung for murder. Treat the museum as your start point or end point that will entice you through northeast Victoria through to the southern parts of New South Wales. But one question still remains yours to answer. Ned Kelly, villain or hero?